today.
What's up?
So what's up? You're off in God's country with Reid
and Dan Isbell,
also known as the Brothers Hunt.
Yeah.
Where we take a weekly drive to the intersection of country music and the great outdoors. Two things that go together like me and running out of gas.
Or Grandy and a marketplace deal. Brought to you by MeatEater and iHeart Podcasts.
We got on Meghan Patrick today.
MP.
A homie for a bit. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about hunting.
She from that great north, dog.
She's a diehard hunter. She loves it. Serious about it. For real about it. Like we are. Cool.
Serious. Cool about it.
She's cool about it.
Yeah.
She's going to sing a little bit. We're going to talk a while. Y'all are going to really enjoy it. Quit saying you, dude.
I said one time.
You've been talking this whole time.
With a T on
while
it
I'm talking.
at the end.
Yeet.
Yeet.
You want to say something so I don't have to say everything?
Just keep saying, dude. You're doing great.
Meghan Patrick's awesome. You're going to love this episode. Also, we're going to do a new little thing right here with our sunglasses on.
Ooh, what?
Called the...
I was wondering if we were going to rap.
Marketplace minutes. Marketplace minutes.
Who's got the verse?
Wait, that's just it.
I thought there was like a little verse.
No, we're not good at it. You got a marketplace thing?
Dude, yeah, I do.
Good.
Here's what I'm mad about Marketplace Minute. Let me just bring up a little conversation I had with a guy.
We're not doing mad at market, but you're mad. This is your Marketplace Minute. You're mad.
Yeah, I mean,
Big
okay.
shocker.
Let me start it with some good news. Some good news is that Grandy's on his way to Summertown. I text this guy, dude. He's got one on there. Oh, what did I just do? Text one on there. Oh, I deleted the text. I got so mad. Sorry. Basically, it was a rundown of me going.
No, you didn't. You sent it to me.
Oh, that's right. I sent it to you. That's right. Maybe you can get in on it. But I do have his reply. I really made this guy feel. All right. So it's on there for $300. I'm like, hey, or $200. I'm like, hey man, I'll give you $150. Read that.
No, it's not yet. Keep going. I'll read it when I need to.
And I said, okay.
KitchenAid induction.
I'll be there in the morning to pick it up after church. And he's like, come get it, right? Is that what it says?
Not yet. No.
That was the first one.
Oh, $150 cash pickup tomorrow. Come get it. Call me.
That's the other guy.
Yeah.
Come get it.
You said
call
perfect.
Me.
Holler.
Now, does that not sound like you
loved the message. Come get it and call me.
Yeah, I did.
And then perfect. Holler at you after church. He sent a thumbs up.
Right.
Okay.
Next day.
Okay.
What does it say?
No, keep going.
It says,
so what
user
you did?
has sold item.
Okay.
Or whatever. While I'm sitting in church trying to, get my worship on. And I get the user has sold.
But you're also checking Facebook Marketplace.
Well, maybe it let me know. Maybe it let me know. Or maybe I checked it.
I don't think it lets you. I don't think it gives you sends you notifications.
Sorry, preacher.
I'd say sorry to Jesus instead of the preacher.
He already knows. We were talking about it. He's probably mad about this too.
So at 11 o'clock, 10:59 a.m.
When church is out, because it gets over at 10:30.
Did you call this guy?
Yeah, I called him.
What happened?
Read it.
Nothing happened?
Read it, bro.
10:59 a.m. Hey, I called that number. Can I still come get it today?
That's your boy.
Just got out of church.
True.
Could head to you now.
All true. Because he's in Franklin. We go to church in Thompson Station. So we were just going to pop up. Oh, you hadn't read it until now, huh?
No, I read it.
Go ahead.
He said, could head to you now. He wrote back, sold early this morning. Space for about 5 spaces. Sorry. All lower caps.
So at this moment, I'm red hot, right? Because I'm like, bro, you already said we made a deal, dude. Like we made a deal, right? Is it not making a deal?
Well, you wrote him after he said that.
Hold on. Shine said, don't get mad at him. I thought about it for a minute. And she said, well, I know what you're mad at. It's going to be for the week. She said that to me in the car. And I was like, yeah, because I'm sick of people doing this, man. I'm sick of people making deals. So go ahead and let them know what I said.
He said, wow, thanks, pal. Thanks for wasting my time and not being true to your word. All he wrote back was, got a better offer. And you said you accepted mine last night.
Yeah, I had to let him know.
That's it.
So that's not it. That's not it. Because what happened after that, I get this text.
From who?
Him. Like 11:58. So it's an hour after I had called. First off, he calls me back. I'm like, boop, block number. See you later. Then I get this on the thread after I deleted it. Daniel, I want to apologize on what happened today. Being new to Marketplace, period. This guy shows up on my doorstep this morning. I assumed it was you, handed me the money and loaded it up and was gone. So I'm sorry for what happened. Good luck and God bless.
Assumed it was you.
Here's the thing. Here's the issue I have.
Ain't nobody just
If that guy was telling the truth, he wouldn't have written.
got a better offer.
Thank you.
That's a straight up lie.
You know what I said?
And you know what else? People, you don't just put something on your door or like put something on Facebook Marketplace and then people just show up at your door.
No, doesn't happen. You make a deal.
You can't. There's no unless you
The
put
guy
your
accepted-
unless you put your address on Market like the
sure.
the ad, which nobody does.
It's not. That's not lining up.
No,
The
dude.
story's not lining
You
up.
offered him 150. Somebody said he said, "Well, I've already got an offer for 150." So he goes, "Well, I'll give you 200 cash this morning." He said,
Come
"I'll
get
take it. Come get it."
Yeah.
Gave him an address.
That's sorry,
Yeah.
dude. That's sorry. Moen? Thank you.
You're dealing with Marketplace, man. I mean,
So-
what do you expect?
So there. How do you feel like let's take a poll in here. How do you feel like I responded to that message, Jordan? What do you think I said to the guy? I said, it's okay. Piss off. Straight up.
You got him though a little bit because he
Yeah. Oh,
like replied.
and Cheyenne said, why are you doing that? I said, so that next time when he does it,
He'll remember.
he'll remember.
Did you get or so Dad's going to get you a stovetop?
Yeah. But this one costs $50 more. But you know what? Maybe that's just Jesus making a marketplace way for your boy, dude. Maybe this one was.
While you're checking it in church.
Anyway, welcome to Marketplace Minute. You bought anything lately?
No, not off Marketplace. I keep on offering. I keep on lowballing people on side by sides. And everybody says like no, like firm price. No. But I'm looking for a side by side, so that's what I get on there and do that every time.
Okay, thanks.
And I guess I feel like it's like the only place to buy side by side because that's the only place I'm looking.
It kind of is. It's time to start the show, man. It's time. That was a long one.
Oh, okay. Well, we got this one guy who wrote us, right?
Which
talking about this giant
yeah,
deer.
sorry. Man, we love when y'all send us deer pictures. I can't do this anymore. I can't see. We love when y'all send us deer pictures.
It's not even deer pictures. Just send us anything.
We love hearing from you. Straight up.
This is from Evan Galil. Get what? All I can see is Galil.
Gilliland.
Gilliland.
He's gonna.
Sorry, Evan. You killed a giant deer. Love y'all's show and wanted to share. I had the biggest one that got away. He put the quotes around it. Of my life happened this weekend. Shot 165, 170 inch, 16-point giant in Indiana.
Hey, you know what? He's lowballing that score, and I appreciate that.
Tracked him 400 yards and lost blood. After 5 miles of grid searching, I believe I hit him in the scapula. Sent us a couple pictures.
It's a great deer.
And then I don't have the next message, but I have a picture of this giant deer that I'm guessing is the one he killed. And it has a Triton as a brow tine on his right side. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, man.
But it's a giant.
He's got something else going on his left. Dude, I think he's underscoring this buck.
Yeah, I think that feels bigger than 165, 170.
I'm going 180, Evan. I'm going easy 180.
That's a hammer, dude. Congrats.
Congratulations, Gilliland.
Is that the same deer? Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's the same deer. It's got to be.
Well, I don't have the rest of the message. It's just pictures. Hey, y'all keep sending in stuff. That's fun to read and fun to know what's going on out there in y'all's world. Also,
That's not our world.
yeah. Hey, it would be helpful. We have on this page if you left us a 5-star review on stuff. If you think we're doing a good job, if you don't leave a review. But if you think we're doing a great job, leave us a 5-star review so we can have 5 stars instead of 1.
And for those of you that think it doesn't matter, it absolutely matters. Steve will fire us. He will fire us if we don't get 500 5-star reviews monthly.
That's right. So let's see if we can get 500 5-star reviews for the God's Country podcast. Also,
he's brutal. Steve's brutal, dude.
they'll fire us if you don't go follow at the God's Country podcast.
That's right.
And at the Brothers Hunt.
Plus, you already like us. You're here. You're listening to us right now.
If you're listening,
you
hit that subscribe button. Go hit that follow button.
Smash it.
Leave us a 5-star review and send us a cool story so we can take up some time on our podcast telling about it. And you get a shout out where we mess your name up.
That's 10-minute intro. We go on that.
Enjoy Meghan Patrick. Wait, let's get into this coffee, this mushroom.
Dan apparently has some really strong feelings about it.
This already seems like
Jordan asked you wanted coffee cups, which she didn't bring me one, which is great. But I looked at yours and I saw you pour yours, and I was like, oh, that looks delicious.
Yeah.
And then I saw Dan pour his, and it was like this orange watery thing, and I asked him what it is, and he said the nectar of my life, which is what? Just
is that coffee?
Just water and the tangerine or whatever it is, body armor.
Yeah, body armor.
The orange body armor.
Oh, okay, like an energy drink.
It's just regular old body armor light. Doesn't have sugar in it.
It's
or
just
nothing.
juice.
It's just.
So what is it? What is it doing for you? It's just putting a good flavor in your mouth.
I really like the taste of it.
Okay, that's fair.
And so I just I cut it with some water. I don't really drink coffee, man. It kind of geez me.
I wish I didn't need coffee to exist.
So you need it.
At this point, I do, yeah.
Really?
I never used to be a coffee every day. I mean, I don't have to drink it every single day.
Yeah.
But the way I've been on the road this year, I've just the Celsius and the coffee has been keeping me alive.
What do you feel like? I'm always curious to avid coffee drinkers. Like, what do you feel like it does for you? For real?
I mean, it just wakes you up a little bit.
Okay.
Gets so the coffee that I was about to tell you about, it's like a mushroom, not like a fun mushroom coffee, but good for your brain.
That's why I said I think no wonder.
No, it's not fun. It's not psilocybin. It's got like lion's mane and cordyceps and reishi and chaga and which I've gotten really.
She really knows what she's talking about. Right
okay,
now.
since we got our place and we've got some land, I've gotten really into foraging and mushrooms.
Okay.
I have a whole folder in my phone of just pictures of dope mushrooms that I've found on our property. But anyway,
dope mushrooms, not like dope mushrooms.
Some of them
might be.
Could be. Yeah. I mean, I don't
we'll see.
You would definitely feel something. I don't know if it'd be fun.
Yeah.
But you'd be on a ride for sure. Mitchell actually got really mad at me a little while ago because
yes.
He was on the road and I was at the house, and I love going out in the woods. We just got a new place. We got 10 acres.
Hell yeah.
I'm living my dream
Good.
right now.
Great. I'm glad to hear it.
We're just outside, just around Bellevue, almost Pegram area. And it's beautiful. It's just 10 acres of gorgeous, just hardwoods.
Was he trying to put up a deer stand with you the other day?
Yes, he did put up a deer stand. I've been asking him.
I thought that was very sweet. I saw him.
I've been asking him for a while, but we haven't been home. This was literally the first time we had more than a day together in months where we could actually have time off. Where
so you went and put up a deer stand?
Yeah, so we've built trails. We built this sick fire pit.
Trails are looking good.
The trails are looking fire. And let me tell you, my whole body hurts right now. My hands hurt, everything hurts, it's a good hurt. It's so rewarding. Yep. Every time we go back there, because we've put a few solid sun up to sundown days just getting this ready. My family's coming in this week. So I'm excited. My dad's the one who gave me so much of my love for the outdoors.
Yeah.
He cut trails back behind our yard.
Red Corvette with a cigarette. Dude.
That's right. And I want to show my dad, look what I built, Dad. Look what we built.
Go. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
But I've been also really into mushrooms. And so I found, I already hunt, right? I love to eat things that I hunt. Why wouldn't I want to go full tilt and find some veggies out there?
For sure, dude.
And so one of the things I found, it's called chicken of the woods. It's beautiful. It's a really cool looking mushroom. It's bright yellow and orange. It looks like it might be bad for you, but it's not. And the thing that's great about it, it's great if you're a beginner forager because there's not really any toxic lookalikes and it's very identifiable.
Love it.
So I took a picture. I sent it to, do you know Hunter Chef, Mike.
Yeah.
Y'all know. I hit him up.
Chef Hunter.
Yeah, Chef Hunter. Sorry. What did I say? Yeah.
So you said
That's what I call him. It's Hunter Chef, right?
Hunter Chef.
Let's
we
get
know
a-
who we're talking
is it
about.
Chef
because Reed got it wrong.
We were doing. They
Well,
were
now
like,
I thought I had
on the
it right.
Moss,
Now
on like
I'm-
the Mossy Oak Instagram, my page. I'd said it wrong. I think I said Chef Hunter. I think Hunter Chef is
I
right.
think it's Hunter Chef. Right?
Yeah, Hunter Chef.
Anyway,
Hunter Chef, right?
I would consider him, a pretty knowledgeable
He would
guy.
know.
Obviously,
He would
owns
totally
a great
know.
restaurant, has
Great
a whole
dude.
cookbook. Best dude.
Antler is the restaurant.
Antler, yes, in Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I hit him up and
I
I
think
was
it's
like,
Hunter
hey, I found this. My husband is freaking out saying, don't you dare eat this, but I want to eat it. And he was like, yeah, it's chicken. He said, winner, chicken dinner. That's what it is. And he told me a recipe, whatever. So I went, I got a nice steak, I cooked it up, and Mitchell was like, this is so you. He's like, I swear to God, if you die from this
So you
mushroom,
weren't-
I will kill you. He's like,
He wasn't
I'm
there.
so pissed. He was not there. He's like, you better at least he said, you better call Randy, tell somebody that you're eating this mushroom. He's like, Megan, we have grocery stores, go to Trader Joe's. And I said, we got God's grocery store right here in our backyard, baby, on this 10 acres. And look at this beautiful mushroom. Anyway, so I called Randy and I was like, hey, Mitchell told me
If
that I
I
need to
die-
call you, that I took this mushroom. So, just letting you know. And she goes, oh, okay, well, I'm in Illinois. So that's great to know. And I was like, everybody needs to calm down. Anyway, it was delicious.
It was.
It was
How'd
delicious.
you cook it?
I just sauteed it with some, cleaned it really well.
Yeah.
I even bought a special mushroom brush to clean it. And
They
I just
should call
sauteed it with
that
some
the-
butter, some
brushroom.
shallots, and some garlic, and it was delicious.
Man, this sounds delicious.
And it's crazy. It's called chicken of the woods because it's like it literally is. It's like chicken. The texture of it, like it's very dense and kind of fibrous. I don't know. That's
Chickeny.
the right word. Chickeny.
yeah,
Hunter Chef. Yeah, she got it right.
that's right.
If you don't recognize those velvety vocals coming through the microphone over there,
Velvety.
we've got Canadian country music singing, turkey calling, multi CMAO and Juno winner, including album of the year, single of the year, female artist of the year, and songwriter of the year. Tattoo rocking Big Deer killing. Most recently released her album Golden Child.
That's right.
We got Meghan Patrick out in God's country this morning.
What an intro. I need to bring you everywhere.
Yeah, I
to this
wrote that.
intro.
I wrote it
Every time
this
I walk
morning.
into a
Jordan,
room.
my wife did not write that. I wrote that. How's it going?
Man, I'm just so happy to be here with y'all. I've been wanting to do this with you guys for
I
a
know,
while.
Man, you look cool.
Like
dude.
it was starting to hurt my feelings a little bit.
Well,
First off, we're not for future and possible guests. Reed and I are not responsible for the booking of this show.
Well, I should have known. I just needed to go to Jordan all along.
that's 1,000%
totally.
right.
But to be fair, I have stayed gone.
Oh, have you?
It's been the craziest, busiest.
Just
best
gigging.
Year. Yeah, I took my first single to radio, which long time dream come true, and so a lot of radio shows, and just a lot of big tours, like some bucket list tours this year too.
Who'd you go out with?
Excuse me.
No, I'm gonna be doing that all day.
All right, well-
so if you're doing that, it's fine.
Yeah,
I think I double dosed on allergy pills, so I'm feeling a little loopy.
yeah,
but we're good.
it's serious right
What
now.
do y'all do? I'm a Mucinex D guy, and I don't feel like it's doing anything.
I just take the orange top thing in my docket bag. I think it's allergy medicine. I hope it is. It might not be. Might be. I don't know. Might be something else.
What do you take? Are you taking anything?
When I needed something, I have one that I actually get in Canada. It's called Arius. And
I thought you were gonna be like, I just go to the backyard and find.
Yeah, I've got a mushroom for
I
that.
forage for.
Yeah, I've got a mushroom for that.
I got a shroom for that.
No, I've honestly, listen, God gave us medicine.
Ain't no doubt.
It's coming out of the ground.
Here we go. Again.
Ain't no doubt.
I mean-
I'm with you on that. I just don't know anything about it, but yes.
Mushroom coffee, Megan, dude.
Listen, my brain is firing on all cylinders.
Okay,
so-
that's all I
and
need
you know
to know.
why?
For
You know
sure.
what else is firing on all cylinders? Those overalls.
Yeah.
Those
Thank
are
you.
gas. Those are gas.
I wear them a lot. Like
Yeah.
to the point where people probably wonder, like, does she have other clothes? I wore these on my album cover.
Nice.
Sick.
They look
They're
great on
just,
you.
I
you're a
feel
real
like
one.
I just
'Cause
feel
you're a
like
real
my
one.
most Megan in
Yeah.
these. Like I just feel like me. They're comfortable. They feel cool. You know, I feel like if I needed to, I could go out into the woods and
You're cool right now. I mean, there ain't nothing.
Cool all the time. What are we talking about?
These glasses are cool. I haven't seen you with the new shades. They look good on you.
She's got a hammer tattooed on her dude. She's cool, bro.
What hammer? Let me see that.
Look, there's a literal hammer and a screw and a.
It says screw you.
Oh yeah, it does.
I love that. Hammer screw you, dude.
It is. You know, it's really funny. I get asked about these tattoos a lot, and they are two of the dumbest ones I have. Like the reasons. Are
you know the
dumb.
one I love.
The buck.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That one's cool. Yeah. Nobody ever asked about that one. They asked about the.
So
I'm going to ask about that one.
Tell us some tattoo stories.
Well, you guys have heard.
Can you show the camera? Yeah, one of the cameras will pick it up.
This is my first buck.
Literally, like the first buck she killed.
He's got that hook brow tine and everything.
Look at Moen over there working.
And that's the coordinates where I shot him. And you guys have obviously...
Maybe don't show those.
Blur the coordinates out, Moen. Blur those coordinates, Moen.
No, you don't want to step foot on that property uninvited. You guys have obviously heard this story, but you guys don't care because you love hearing this stuff.
I want everybody to hear this story.
This is what we do. So I didn't grow up hunting. You know, it wasn't something, I didn't have anyone in my family that was into it. So it was something I got into on my own, like in my mid 20s. Late 20s.
Love that about you, by the way.
What made you get into it on your own?
What do you mean? She just wants to eat some mushrooms, so she just walks around and picks up mushrooms. This gal she does what she wants, dude. Right. I remember a season-long turkey season where she just put a blind out there and was grinding every morning and shot a bird with like the last week or something.
And wanted to do it on her own.
And I almost cried.
I'm a last week hero.
I almost cried.
Sure. Dude, same.
It was inspirational.
Well, thank you. Well, you know, I
say that to say you kind of just do what you want.
I do. No, and I really but I kind of also, when I set my mind to something, I get pretty obsessive about it. And it's very I have something to prove, which, you know, has served me in life, but sometimes it can be a little too much. But anyway, I got into it, honestly. I mean, I was always into the outdoors. I love being outside, play a lot of sports. You know, I liked fishing. I liked hiking. Right. You know, I grew up in the woods. And one of my buddies, Russ, I was over at his house and he's like, hey, come over. We're going to grill out and smoke a bunch of meat. I was like, okay, sounds great. And he brings over, he's like, try some of this. And I was like, what is this? He's like, well, this is venison and this is duck breast. And I had never had wild game in my life. I was like, this is delicious. Like, where did you get this? He goes, I shot it. It's like, you just went out and got this. He's like, yeah. It's like, well, can I come? He's like, hell yeah. And I was like, okay. So I went, and here's the thing. This is Canada. You can't just walk into Walmart and buy a shotgun.
Why can't I don't know anything about
because this. In order to get a gun license and hunting license, I mean, I had to do a whole weekend course, and then I had to send in an application. It took me over probably 8 or 9 months to get my license, before I could even go out and do this.
So is how bad I wanted to do this. Is it kind of the same thing? Like in America, you have to do hunter safety course, which is the same thing. You have to go watch a movie. But you also have
to do a firearm course as well. Okay. So you have to do a written test and then you have to do a practical test, obviously show that you can safely, which honestly,
okay, I'm cool with that.
Everyone should.
Yeah, sure. Should. Absolutely.
The amount of times I walk into a Walmart or a Bass Pro and there's somebody about to buy a gun that does not know anything about safety is insane to me. Preach. And it should be anyway. Yeah. I digress.
Preach.
I went out, I did that. I called my buddy up. I remember it was spring. And I was like, all right, what can we kill?
All right, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, he's like, it's turkey season. And I was like, okay, cool. And so, you know, I get my Walmart camo. I don't have no idea what I need at all, fully underdressed in every single way.
Yep.
We get out there and we walk out, we get hid under this tree by this field. And I sit there, I swear it was I didn't breathe for an hour watching. I was just trying to because he was like, all right, you have to be quiet. And you got to be still, and so, and I didn't want to be the annoying the amateur
that comes,
that comes in and is like, oh, I'm never taking her hunting again. So I was just I sat there like this. At one point, he's like, "Are you okay?" I was like,
"Shut up, quit talking. I'm trying to do what you said.
Don't scare the birds.
You said not to talk."
So we didn't see anything, and we went out a couple of times, and he was like, "Dude, I'm sorry." He's like, "I don't know where they're at." He's like, "So do you hate it? Do you never want to do it again?" I was like, hell no, like I love it. And so that rolled into, you know, my first duck season, which was the first thing I ever killed was a mallard. And I remember I went out, it was me and all my buddies that I grew up with, and we're in the blind, it's first light, and this single comes in, they're like, all right, Megan, this is all you. And I'm like,
did you get it?
And I prayed and I got it.
Nice.
And it was crazy because I shot him, but he was kind of coming almost in. We were like on the edge of like kind of a flooded field situation. And he came in and landed like on the land, like not even in the water.
Okay.
And so I like ran over to like grab it, and you know, it's not
This is post shot.
Post shot.
Gotcha.
And I definitely hit it. Like I hit him.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But you know, sometimes you gotta
Sometimes.
No doubt.
whatever.
Yeah.
And
You gotta twirl him
so
a
I
little
pick
bit.
it up and I'm like, he's still moving. They're like, wring his neck. I was like, you wring his neck. Like I was mortified. I was like, I mean, listen, I don't think I need
your neck.
I need to ease into this.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, that's a brutal.
like
yeah.
that's a lot. And so one of my buddies came and he's like, all right, this is what you do. He's like, just do it real fast and showed me. And I was like, okay, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But then, you know, we had this great morning. We went back to camp. They showed me how to breast it, how to clean it. We went and cooked it. We ate it that night. And I was just like, this is the greatest day of my life.
I'm really surprised at the brutality of that, and you still being like, hell yeah, I'm in. You know what I mean?
I'm
either
not going to lie to you and say it didn't shake me. It's
for
still,
sure.
there are still aspects of what we do that makes me uncomfortable, but I think that's like actually a good thing. I think it should. Because it reminds you of the sanctity of life and what we're we're doing. You know?
I think that's part of the reason why you fall in love with it.
Yes.
Is the raw and the realness of that you're going through. It's you connect to that because it's unfabricated. It is what it is. It is what it was created to be and meant to be.
Well, and it is serious. It's not a joke.
Right. No.
It's not what a lot of, you know, kind of anti-hunting people would have you believe. Listen, those dumb redneck guys, they exist. I've hunted with them.
For sure.
It sucks. I know y'all have too.
Yeah. I think we've hunted with them together.
100%. But I mean, that's why I loved y'all and why I loved hunting with you guys, because, well, one, you know, I'm still new to it to this day.
Yeah,
you know, I'm
sure.
still learning every single day. And I'm kind of like annoying to where I'm going to ask a million questions. Like, I want to know everything, and I'm going to watch everything that you're doing, every little thing. And I'm going to ask, hey, why'd you just do that? Or what's the reason for this? Or what's the reason for that? Because that's how you learn. And one thing I learned is, like, anybody who's annoyed by your questions, they don't share the same passion. They're not in it for the same reasons that you are.
Either that or
y'all
they
were
don't,
never
or they
annoyed
don't
by my
know.
questions.
No, we weren't. No.
You were just as excited. You were excited to watch somebody fall in love with it, like with fresh eyes.
For
like,
sure.
you know, you were more than happy, and so many other guys and girls that I've met in the hunting industry that have been a part of just like teaching that to me and sharing that passion. Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing when you find somebody that you maybe just met and all of a sudden you're up at 4 a.m. to go like kill some shit together and you don't know anything about them, but you are connecting on at least that one thing.
For sure.
You got to find happiness where you can get it. And there's so much happiness to be found in the outdoors and like hunting. I mean, that's right. It's there if you want to take it. And I mean, if you ever need a reminder of God's existence, go watch a sunrise in a duck blind.
Amen.
You know, if you ever need to just,
songs about it
you know,
on,
like
preach.
you ever need to just like after this week, CMA week, amazing. Great time. Did a lot of peopling. I told Rainey, I was like, I need to unplug for a bit.
Yeah.
I need to go get out in the woods. I'm going to work on some stuff at my house. And that is like, it is so healing. It kind of gets you to, for me, it's like sorting out all the junk. I've been storing junk in my brain and like computing things all week with all these people. And it's like, all right, I'm going to sort this out, get rid of it, clear some space.
It's a beautiful thing that the music industry lines up that way with, like, especially in Tennessee, where you have what I like to call Hell Week, which is like the awards week and all that kind of stuff. Which is great, man. You do a lot of we do a lot of work in that 1 week for the rest of the year. Yeah. But at the end of it is Thanksgiving break, is the Tennessee rut. And so you get to go from that straight into a week of great deer hunting and being in the outdoors and kind of clearing all that mess up.
How many people did y'all talk to at BMIs about or whatever award show you went to about deer.
Oh, dude, I hadn't seen LC in a couple months, and the first thing, like, it was no, hey, what's up, brother? Good to see you. It was, have you seen Trevor's deer? And I went, no. And immediately he showed me a deer picture. I talked to Singleton, and he was like, dude, before I even got upstairs, 4 people had showed me the same deer pic.
I saw Hardy from across the room. He's standing there with his pregnant wife, right, Kaylee? And I was like, hey, man. He's like, dude, they rutting. I was like, I mean, we're getting close. Yeah. Hey, Kaylee, how are you doing? Like
Callie.
Sorry. Callie. That's right. It looks like Kaylee.
Yes.
But it's Callie.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you for correcting me.
I got you.
Yeah. I said, Callie, this baby's going to be awesome. It's going to be the greatest thing in your life. He's like, I know, man. You got any deer on camera? I'm like, bro.
I saw Dylan Marlowe at the Christmas tree place yesterday with my kids. With my kids in my hand. He was like, bro, can I show you this deer I've been trying to hunt? Yeah, it's a thing.
It's a
thing.
Well, there's
that time of year.
There's a sense of like accomplishment too that comes with it. This like self-sufficiency, and as somebody who has built like an entire identity and like way of being around feeling like self-sufficient and feeling like I can get something done for myself. That's to go full circle back to the tattoo.
Yep.
That's why I got this tattooed on my arm. It's not just, a deer will look cool on my arm.
Does look cool.
It does look cool. But,
cool.
you know,
So does that mallard. God, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Is
same. What's that?
Is that new?
It's a couple years old.
Whoever did that is really good.
Cole Armstrong, Black 13 in Nashville.
That's
he also did this one as well. But yeah, going into that, my first deer season, I was super fired up after a successful duck season. I didn't see anything. Like, didn't even see a deer. And I went out a lot.
Happens.
You know? But also, I'm sure there was a million things that I was doing wrong, because also the guys just like kind of threw me to the wolves. They just dropped me off and they're like, all right, so you're going to walk about, 3 miles down this trail.
With some rednecks.
It's completely pitch black. Yeah. And if you get lost,
good luck.
Just sit down.
Just sit down and you'll figure it out. We'll come get you, and that was it. And so like, there was probably a million things I wasn't thinking about wind, or I had no idea what I was doing. I was just sitting out there, alive. Hoping to see a deer.
Sure.
Well, after that, I was like, okay, well, that ain't gonna be next year. I'm getting trails. I'm gonna read some books. I'm gonna watch some shows. Okay. So I go out there and I'm, sitting on the ground with my back against a stump, and in front of me, I've got, there's like railroad tracks. There's soybeans over here. There's a cornfield over here. The only thing that's behind me is like the house. Well, I hear like a twig snap behind me. And I was probably just a squirrel, like it always is. And I kind of like casually look over my shoulder and I just see this rat come up, and I went.
Are you on the ground now?
I'm on the ground, like on my butt on the ground. And I'm like.
There's nothing that jumps out at you like a deer after spending days of not seeing
a deer.
Yeah. Like, and then especially if it's a giant, the first one you see.
I felt like not only was this the first. Like, this was the biggest deer I'd ever seen in my life. And so now I'm like doing this, turning
How far is the deer? How
slow.
Far is the deer?
When he first came in, I would say he was probably 70 yards.
Okay, so not that far.
Yeah, like close enough. Also, the wind is not in my favor in this situation. Nothing about this situation.
It was your time.
That's right. Meant to be.
So I finally somehow get quietly turned around, and he still hasn't heard me, seen me, smelled me, anything. And I'm like ready to take the shot, but he's kind of like covered by some like young evergreen. So I'm like, and I remember them saying like, wait till you have a clear shot, wait till you have a clear shot. So I'm like, be patient. And then all of a sudden he whips his head up really fast. And he was sort of covered, but there was sort of a lane right where I needed to shoot. And I was like, I got to take this shot.
So are you freehanding this, or you got to rest?
I'm like kind of on the stump a little bit, good. My knee/stump. I don't know. I can't feel my body at this point.
Sure. No, it's okay.
So anyway, he rips his head up, and I'm like, it's go time. I pull the trigger, and
you feel good about the shot?
I feel good about it.
Okay.
I feel good about it, but I don't know. I've never shot a deer in my life.
Yeah, totally.
So he takes off.
Point.
Yeah, he takes off, and I just keep shooting.
Oh, let's go.
I unloaded the gun.
Okay.
And he ran probably, I want to say like 80 something yards and stops for a second at this tree and then keeps running into the woods. And I don't, but it's like kind of covered, so I don't really see. And in my head, I'm like, okay, either he stopped because he's dying,
right?
Or he was just kind of like, oh, like, what was that?
Yeah.
So I call and I'm like, I just shot the biggest deer I've ever seen. And they're like, okay, just chill out. Like, just wait a bit. And then go start looking. And it's starting to get dark. This is the last day in the last hour of the hunt. And so I get up and I go to where I feel like I shot him, and I can't find blood anywhere. It's getting dark. It's leaves everywhere. So I'm like, I'm going to just start walking towards that tree. Because if there's no blood there, then I missed.
Yeah.
And I'm almost up to that tree, and I just see the rack just catches my eyes just on the ground, just out of sight by this tree. He dropped within 2 seconds after I saw him stop.
No blood?
Oh, no, there was blood.
I got you.
There was definitely blood there. I had just missed where it was in the first place. Also, I was freaking out. I was still, my vision was blurry. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And I will never forget the moment I realized, and going back to what we were talking about, I always say, it's not necessarily a sadness, because I don't feel that I've done something wrong, but there's a weight to it.
It's heavy.
Mm-hmm. You've taken a life.
Sure.
But it's so many emotions running through your head, because also I'm like, this is 2 years of me putting in the work and being patient and grinding and showing up and showing up and showing up and seeing nothing. And if that ain't a metaphor for the music industry and what we do, I don't know what is. And so it's teaching me lessons I need to learn every day.
Yeah, it does that. I feel like hunting teaches you valuable lessons.
Ain't no doubt.
Life lessons.
Patience above all.
we had Mitchell on, and one of my favorite things he talked about you about was, we asked him, we're like, do you do any hunting? He's like, man, not a lot. He was like, but when we're like, what about Megan? And he was like, he said he was very it makes him so happy when you go out and hunt and then come back with either a kill or nothing. He was like, it seems like he's very supportive of that.
Oh yeah,
of that dream.
He's supportive of all my dreams.
It's obvious. And let me just hit the old e-brake right here for a second. It's fun to see someone who's so passionate tell a story.
Yeah.
Even that right there was fun for me. I know that story.
And you know that story.
I know that story.
I know.
But it's
in
fun.
My head, I was there.
It's almost like seeing, and you can relate to this, watching somebody get their first cut.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, I gotta name some artist. I got a John Party cut. I can't believe it. I've been working for 12 years and I'm, in the back of your head, you're like, man, this is great. And that's how we feel about hunting. We've been doing it for so long. It's still just as shiny as it ever was.
Yep.
But man, you get used to it and you get used to the stories, and and to hear somebody like yourself just describe that moment, describe that hunt, it's a lot of fun. It's honestly kind of inspiring, truthfully.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well,
no doubt.
Well,
so good on you.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky to have a husband that, because there's a lot of times where I'm trading in time with him to go hunt. It's like, oh, I have time off of work. I'm going to go get on a plane and still go somewhere else that is not with you.
And not a lot of time that y'all have.
Yeah, and we don't have a lot of time. But I think that's why we work. I understand what makes him tick, and he understands what makes me tick. And we both, understand that to be happy together, we got to be happy as individuals.
Sure.
And he knows that I'm going to, and honestly, it's like, well, would I rather hang out with her being kind of mopey and salty about life,
or be somewhere else,
or I can or she's going to come home probably with some dinner and she's going to be excited. She's going to be fired up. She's going to be in a good mood. She's going to tell me about her weekend. It's
it's a match made in heaven.
Yep.
Are you trying to get him in the woods anytime?
I'm finally got him to agree to come duck hunting this fall.
Okay.
I think Duck and Laney are gonna take us out.
Oh, that's
nice.
Awesome.
Yeah. Which he's more of a hunter of kind of opportunity. If something comes up and and he feels like it, he's got time.
I saw him pheasant hunting recently. Were y'all on a pheasant hunt?
Yeah, he likes it. He's just not
He's not going to go search it.
He's not necessarily carving out time for it. Like, you know, which is cool. But yeah, I'm excited. We haven't done a ton of hunting together. We went turkey hunting once, very unsuccessfully. He ended up taking a nap in the blind, and I was just like, "You cannot be this unserious right now." And he was just like, he's like, "There's no birds." I was like, "Well, not with that attitude.
There's not going to be any with that attitude.
Not with you sawing logs in here. There ain't."
So you formed your first band when you were 13.
Yeah, I did not know this. I
studied opera and jazz in university, and once led a 10-piece funk outfit. Come on.
And I could go for a 10.
Do you remember the band name?
Oh yeah, of course. So my first band when I was 13, we were called the Sirens, which I think is still a sick band name.
That's pretty. That's
dope.
Yeah, I mean, we're a bunch of 13-year-old girls. It's like, let's name ourselves after these mythical creatures that sing beautifully and lure men to their death. Sounds rock and roll. Sounds punk rock, you know? Yeah, we were mostly a No Doubt cover band, honestly. I was still am quite obsessed. Man. Yeah. So that's part of why I put the cover of Just a Girl on Golden Child. It was a very autobiographical record, and like being in that band and like seeing Gwen Stefani live for the first time was definitely one of those light bulb, like, I want to be her. Yeah. I want to do that kind of thing. Yeah, I studied music since I was, I guess, 12, 13. And then when I was in college, that's when I had the funk band. We were called New Groove Orchestra. And we made a couple of records, did some touring. Like yep, NGO.
Did some touring.
Yeah, we
Groove
did.
Groove and orchestra don't really go together very well, so that's a nice little play on that right there.
Yeah, thank you. We thought it was pretty cool.
So what kind of stuff were y'all playing?
It was very like Tower of Power-esque.
Okay.
Kind of vibes. I was the only girl and only singer. I didn't play any instruments at that time, but I was writing a lot of the stuff with a couple of the guys in the band.
That's probably fun.
It was awesome. I mean, we played a lot of like bars and clubs, obviously, like we were in a college town. We were in McGill in Montreal. And then had one of the guys in our band was from Vermont, which is not too far. So he had it in at a few bars there. So we started doing a little bit of touring, played some summer festivals and stuff. And so that was kind of my first taste of like touring a little bit.
Yeah.
Really caught the bug there. And then, also mixed in with all of that was I was a competitive snowboarder from like all through high school.
Sick.
And like that was my dream initially, was to go to the Olympics. That was like the big thing. Huh. And senior year of high school, was warming up at a competition, went off a jump. It kind of just shot me like straight up, like it had more vert than I expected. And so when I went to rotate, I just kind of overcompensated, and like, if this is my head, this is my board, I went like this. Ugh, and so I snapped my collarbone, dislocated my shoulder, broke my back, broken ribs,
snowboarding,
severe concussion. Yeah, it was like literally, I mean, I'm pretty sure I was about to qualify for like junior worlds in Switzerland that year, and like I'd made a deal with my parents that if I made the national development team, like they were cool with me not going to college right away, because I wanted to do that. They wanted me to go to school. And so, yeah, just in like a split second, all of my dreams were just ripped from me.
Wow.
But that was like, it was such an important turning point, because that was when my trajectory changed to music. That was like the only thing I had during that recovery. It was a very long, very painful, very depressing time in my life. And, you know, I listened to a lot of music and was writing a lot, and that was just kind of my only outlet. And so, you know, I ended up going to school to study music. That's how I ended up in the band and everything, and kind of had a renewed love for music and touring and writing my own songs.
Would you snowboard now?
Yeah. And I've been back on my board. I ended up, after my first year, I quickly discovered that opera was not for me. Real quick. And, you know, I wanted to go back to snowboarding. I felt like I didn't like that it felt like I had just like quit, not on my own terms. And so I told my parents, like, I don't want to stay in this program. It's not what I want to do. I'll stay enrolled and take like 2, classes for the year or whatever, but I'm going to go back and compete for a year. So I talked to the coach for the Quebec team and started training with them. And I did one more year. I ended up getting another concussion, which the doctor was like, you can't get any more of these. Yeah. But it was fine. At that point, I was starting to play more shows, and it was like, I felt like I got closure kind of. I went back. I sort of faced the fear of like, okay, I'm going to get back on my board. I'm going to compete. And when I'm done, it'll be on my own terms. It'll be because I said so. So that kind of closed that chapter for me in a good way. And I would still, if I didn't live in Tennessee, I would still go every weekend and just, cruise. But
would you go?
I think I've had too many concussions in my life.
Would this be an appropriate time to find a video of you having a concussion on one?
Do you have a video?
Oh yeah, baby.
You have a video of me having a concussion?
Maybe just chat it up for a second. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
I'm gonna count the concussions I've had.
Okay.
I think the first one I ever had was in basketball. I took a charge, and where the court met the baseline was wood court to concrete, and my head hit the concrete. I'm pretty sure I had my first one there. I'm pretty sure I've had a couple wakeboarding, like trying to do flips and stuff. Like when you're in that learning process of like going from just jumping the wake to actually doing a barrel roll across the lake. I'm pretty sure I've had a couple.
Found it.
One time I jumped a wake on a sea-doo and came off the sea-doo, and that when I hit like this. My head hit. Pretty sure I've had one there. I flipped a 4-wheeler and hit my head and had one. And then snowboarding, there's the medicine ball one was a no doubter.
I've told that story.
I think I've had too many. I think I've had too many concussions.
I've definitely had too many concussions.
Was this the video where I was like, I'm done. That's it.
No, what is this? You said, Moen, we might have to have a zoom in on this. You said, you said as soon as your head hit the snow, you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done never doing this
Was
again.
that this video in Gatlinburg? That's when I broke my elbow.
So
because in Gatlinburg, it's not like up there or Breckenridge. It's like they spray the snow and then it freezes and it's ice.
It's just ice, yeah.
I don't know where this is. Megan, you watch this first. He thinks he was going real fast.
Is this when I was doing the... You can hear me. That's when I broke my ribs. That's when I broke... Is that in Breckenridge?
I think so.
Yeah, I broke my ribs.
That'll do it.
Maybe you can just hold that to the mic and just let him...
You can hear me go...
Show Moen.
Oh, yeah.
You were doing great right till the end.
This is Breckenridge.
Show Moen.
Ooh, that little kick out, kick in. Doing like 3 miles an hour.
I was about to say you're going like 2.
You hear me go, ah!
I think I go, that'll do it.
There's nothing more embarrassing than the noises you literally make.
Yeah, but remember you said,
or,
he said he was
yourself.
like, was I going real fast? I was like, it doesn't look like it in this video.
Man.
You just
Snowboarding is a young man's game.
Or woman's.
Or a girl's game.
I mean, I remember when I went off, well, first off, you remember the scary trail? When we went with what's his face to the top of the world?
Jacob Preston was like, hey, I'm up here, meet us. And he was skiing. He was like, I'm up at the top, meet us up here. And I hadn't seen him in like months. And we were at the same resort. I was like, oh yeah, we'll ride up and meet you. We didn't know. We went to Double Black, double black diamond.
And dude, I'm green.
We were at like 13,000 feet, and we were the only snowboarders up
everybody
there.
Else was skiing. Alpine and skiing up there.
Everyone else was in the chalet, like, look at these idiots.
We were like, can we ride down? And they were like, no. It was
so
terrifying.
Much so. I want to say in my life of 5 panic attacks, that was definitely one of them. Because when I was up there,
how long did it take us to get down that thing? A couple hours.
I know. I had to take a break. I finally just got halfway down and just sat down. I was like, dude, I just got to chill for a second. I mean, I still had like 2 hours to go.
Yeah, it was awful.
So
man.
I want to say we were in Breckenridge, and that's the tallest peak in Breckenridge.
Yeah, it was
like 13.
It was like 13.2 or like 12.7 or something like that. It was up there.
That's probably little to you, but anyway, it was up there. There was literal like snow.
But I mean, it was like this, dude.
Coming, and I mean, it was straight down, and I was like, I can't do that. And I couldn't breathe up there anyway. You know what I mean? It was terrifying.
It was awful.
And after that, I was like, you know what, man? I think I'm done snowboarding for life. Like, I don't think I would go back. I don't think I would do it again.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, probably not.
No.
If you're getting on runs that are way out of your.
It was.
Dude, I've been snowboarding more of my life than not. I mean, my dad had me on skis like before I could walk. He was just like, I just put your little legs in the boots and it went up over your knees, so it kind of held you up, and then just put me on a harness. Yeah. And I still like. There's just no need to be doing all that. Just go cruise.
That's
right,
dude. Just
go for a cruise.
It is
like
fun.
I work
That's
in the
fun.
music industry. Life's hard enough.
No doubt. Yeah, it is.
So you get out of snowboarding, you decide to do the music thing.
Yeah.
You're extremely successful in Canada. You become songwriter, female artist of the year, single of the year, Juno winners. What was it that sparked the interest to want to jump the border and come to the U.S.? Because it's kind of
legally, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I am actually an American citizen.
You're like, I was laying under a truck.
Yes, I would like to specify that I also was an American citizen before I met Mitchell. So we just married for love. It was not for the visa.
There you go.
I have an American.
We're gonna delete that and just and put that and make it and cut it up to where it says you only married Mitchell for your green card.
Hey, I know some stories. I know some stories.
Yeah.
You know what? Actually, do it.
Let's see what he says.
Do it.
Is it like starting over? Is it
100%?
Really?
Okay. Yes, it is.
There's
it's like negative starting over because on top of starting over, there's like a weird stigma around Canadians in Nashville. I'm not really sure like what it's rooted in. I have thoughts, but you know.
Wait, I want to know what you're talking about. So you're saying in Nashville, you have felt a bit of a stigma of
Canadians coming down to Nashville
for real. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not playing dumb here. I don't necessarily know what you're talking about, but I'm into it.
Well, I don't think it's not really. It's not the necessarily from the writers.
Oh, you're saying the business.
It's more the business industry side of things.
I could definitely see that.
For the most part, like, you know, the writers, I mean, I'm super grateful to some of the first people that, you know, Bruce Wallace.
Yeah.
You know, Marty Dodson, Patricia Conroy, those were Phil Barton.
Yeah.
They were all some of the first people to write with me when I first started coming down to Nashville.
And it seems like the writer game, which we're all a part of, like, you don't care, right? Yeah. Like you're just trying to write a great song.
Are you good?
So,
do you have
like
something
songs
to say?
transcend borders, you know, I mean like they transcend the world. So
I think a little bit of it is like
borders.
That Canada is sort of seen as like the farm team to the big leagues of country music. Like the quality, and I don't necessarily disagree. That to an extent and I'm not I think, and I'm speaking to just maybe the music that was showcased on radio. That I'm not saying there wasn't great music being made in Canada, because there was and is, always has been.
It just wasn't being showcased.
I just think that the majority of what was being played on radio at that time, I'm talking like 10 years ago, it felt like it was chasing the trends of Nashville. Like it was, you know, a year or two behind kind of. Yeah. And it was also, and it's like, you know, kind of and also because the money's not the same too. So I think even a little bit maybe within the writer community and business community of like, well, yeah, like if you get a number one in Canada as a writer, like that's cool, but it's not like here. You don't get a party, you know, you're not making like, oh, I can put a down payment on a house money, you know? So there's a lot of reasons.
I get that. I see what you're saying.
You know, and I think too, it's just, and I have I have a lot of issues actually, you know, with Canada and like the way the industry is. I don't feel like they make their own stars. I don't feel like they prioritize their own artists. You know, I know that like, as an artist who fully built a career first in Canada, already had found success in Canada before I ever even came down to Nashville or even made an attempt at having a career here, I built my career entirely in Canada, touring in Canada, touring with radio stations, you know, and even before I had a record deal, I'd already been across the entire country multiple times with multiple different bands, you know. So I was a true Canadian artist. And yet when it came to, you know, award shows and radio, I was still passed over for American artists. Even ones that weren't even super big.
You're saying in Canada?
I'm talking about in Canada. I'm talking about to this day in festivals.
So even they played into that.
I still get pushed back in slots on festivals to open for a male American act that like has maybe never even been to Canada. Maybe doesn't even have a number one yet in America.
Say a name. Let's go viral.
Don't do that. Especially if they're trash.
I don't need to. Just go look at the lineups.
Okay.
And I'm not even hating on these acts. It's not their fault. Like,
even if they're terrible.
I'm saying the problem is in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, and same thing. It's like when they're like the award shows and stuff, they're always they're worrying about bringing, American acts to get the ratings. And it's like, and for me, it's like I built a career. I was one of the few that was in those categories, building a career actually in Canada. A lot of other people I was, quote, competing against or whatever, had American record deals, lived in America, had almost entirely American careers, and maybe came and shot over to Canada for a few shows here and there. But they were being valued over me.
Wow.
And once it does feel like that, like once that game is being played, when they do just throw a Canadian artist in there for the fact that they're Canadian artist, it becomes they just did that to, it's already saturated the market too much.
It's kind of cutting the legs out from under you, honestly.
Well, and here's the other thing too. Part of the reason why I moved is out of anyone's control and is nobody's fault per se. It just comes down to the simple fact that there's, as big as Canada is, there's just not that many markets. There's not as many markets to play. Like if you want to play all of the big festivals, which you do, because that's where a huge built-in crowd is. It's where the good money is. And do a ticketed tour. You have to be really strategic about where you play and what festivals you take because of proximity clauses and radiuses, all that stuff. Wow. Because there's just not as many markets to play, and they're really oversaturated already. A lot of the big markets are still like blue collar communities where, the economy right now in Canada is people can barely afford groceries, let alone a concert, let alone multiple concerts coming through their city, And so
for a second, I thought you were going to say Akon concerts.
Akon.
Akon. And so for me, a big drawing factor was I love to tour, and I wanted to be able to tour constantly as much as I wanted to. I mean, you come down to the US, you could literally just tour Texas year round and not run out of places to play, let alone the rest of the country. And that was really appealing to me.
Yeah, for sure.
We just had Terry Clark on, and I
saw that. That's my girl.
She's killer, dude.
Well, and
was she an inspiration for you?
One of the biggest.
Yeah.
The as far as like Canadian artists go, she's it. And I've been lucky to be able to call her a friend too. I've gotten to know her a lot more over the last few years, and she's become such a great mentor. Honestly, like this record that I just put out, Golden Child. I had a honestly very drunk and a little stoned late night phone call with Terry Clark. I'd gone to radio with the Michael Ray single last year, Spirits and Demons. And it wasn't a tough decision. I love the song, love Michael. It was just more so understanding, okay, we're going to be pushing back my own timeline to put out a single to radio, but it felt like a great move. Yeah. And his team, everybody's like, oh my God, it's a hit. Like, it's a hit. And I had even just other writers, friends in town, like messaging me being like, dude, the song sounds great on the radio. It's a smash. Like, it's going all the way. I've got everybody telling me this. Yeah. And so I'm feeling good. And I'm doing, a bunch of radio shows on top of my regular touring. Like, we're doing everything, all the content, everything you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I'm out in, I think it was like Portland or something, doing, a free radio show. And after the show, I get a call to find out that they're pulling the single after it had just been killing it. And I was like, I'm literally here. I haven't seen my husband in 2 weeks. Yeah. And I'm here playing this free radio show, doing everything you've asked, and y'all are just going to pull it. Ugh. Like, for what? I felt so defeated. I was so angry and so frustrated. Like, God, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
What else could I be doing?
You feel like you're wasting your time.
Well, that's what it felt like at the time.
And not only that time, but a lot of time.
That's what I'm saying.
Everything you've been striving for and grinding for so many years to get to a point where you're taking the song to radio, just to have it pulled.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's a different deal. But I mean, I feel like that's a different deal when it's just you. Like when it's just you grinding and you're wasting your own time, it doesn't hurt as bad. But when you got a husband or a wife that you could be spending that time with, and you're just out there spinning wheels, dude, it hits a little
There's
harder.
a lot you're trading in.
For sure.
To do what we do. And I was just beside myself, and I got pretty faded and
called Terry Clark.
I called Terry Clark.
She'd be a good one to talk to in that moment, I feel like.
And, it was one of those things where I was like, I don't even know if she's going to pick up. But she did, like the angel she is, my little guardian angel. And she, I think, had a couple whiskeys as well. And I started spilling my guts. I was like, Terry, I just don't know. I don't know what else to do. Like, I'm so frustrated. And this is also coming off the heels of like, I went through this horrible, really contentious parting of ways with an old management team. And
I kind of remember that.
Yeah, I told you I can't, but and then lost my first record deal, COVID, like all these things happened.
Tough spot.
COVID.
And then I felt like I was finally just starting to get back on my feet with this Michael Ray single. Because it felt like nobody had paid attention to me. Nobody had even looked at me. Nobody was thinking about me, believing in me. And then when he called me about that song, it felt like for the first time I was being seen again.
Yeah.
Like it was the first yes in a long line of no's. And then it all kind of came crashing down. And Terry goes, well, she's like, Meghan, I have watched you work your ass off. She's like, you are one of the hardest workers I know. I know how much you love this. And she's like, I watched you. We did some shows together. She's like, I've watched your live show. She's like, you have put in the work. You're doing great. She's like, but do you feel like you've ever actually made the record that you want to make? Like 100%. And I was just like, no.
Yeah.
I haven't. I had to be honest with myself and accept that, in the wake of losing that record deal and then COVID, it felt like everything, it was financially, emotionally, incredibly draining. Sure. It took everything from me on both fronts. And, I got desperate. I just desperately felt like, Canada didn't care about me anymore. I couldn't get anybody to look twice at me here. It just felt like no matter what. But then at the same time, I have people telling me how talented I am and how great I am. And it's like, well, one of y'all's lying.
Yeah.
Somebody's
not telling
Somebody's not telling me the truth here because
and at that point,
math.
Absolutely.
And so I finally had to acknowledge that I had gotten desperate. I had started taking in all of these external opinions and I was giving them too much validation. I was seeking that validation. I was looking around the room waiting for somebody because I thought like, well, I tried doing my things my way. I just need to get back on my feet. So I just need to listen to the people around me, and just do what they say and then they'll help me and we'll get back on our feet.
Yeah.
It didn't work that way.
Wow.
It does not work that way. Don't ever fucking do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm telling you. And that's a lesson I had to learn the hard way. But Terry just said, she's like, Meghan, she's like, I think that, she said, how old are you? And I said, I think I was 36 at the time. I was like 36. And she said, well, if you're ever going to go all in on yourself, I think now's probably the time.
She's right.
And I said, you know what? You're right. And
so you make the record you wanted to make.
Yeah.
You were actually kind of not even intentionally doing this a second ago, but when you were saying that about her being the angel on your shoulder, that's one of my favorite songs on that record, dude.
Thank you.
Man, that's a kill. That's a hit, dude. I'm telling you.
Well,
that's a jam.
And
I like the title track. I like Golden Child's so
thank
good.
you.
Yeah.
Well, it truly it's my favorite thing I've ever made. And
you got vulnerable on it.
Shit.
Singing about your mom.
Well, that song, Blood from a Stone, in a lot of ways, that song was kind of the catalyst for everything else. I had never been that honest in a song, that brutally honest about something that was very real to me. And, just a topic that's kind of generally taboo and has
you're
a
really
lot
not
of,
sure if you're supposed to sing about in the first place.
Yeah.
Right. Well, there's a lot of judgment that comes around, like, and I've learned this as like an adult child that no longer has a relationship with a parent, which in my case, it's my mother, you know. A lot of people don't understand that. And it's like, on the one hand, I mean, even Mitchell, you know, when I was kind of going through that, like when we met, I still had a relationship with her, but it was on very thin ice. It was not in a good place. And so he was with me throughout everything that happened, and me, you know, starting to reaching a breaking point, and then going to therapy, and then kind of learning and understanding like, oh, this is like really toxic and not normal and not okay, and this is actually shaping me as a human in a really like negative way. You know, and it comes down to, that's where Golden Child came from. The title of the album came from that song. It's the first line in Blood from a Stone. And that is how I was sort of conditioned and raised to believe that, you know, my value was entirely reliant on my success.
Wow.
If I wasn't successful, then I wasn't valuable.
Wow.
And I lived that with my mother, you know, and that does a number on your self-worth.
Oh my gosh.
And it does a number on how you view relationships and how you allow people to treat you, because, you know, in an industry where it feels like you're never doing enough.
Right.
You're never successful enough.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's always someone doing better, always someone doing more, making more money, getting more
from you.
spins, you know, more and more. It's never enough. The second you get that number one, okay, well, when you get in the next one,
Yep.
you know, and so that's a really dangerous mindset to have, that Golden Child mindset in an industry like that. And it was starting to destroy me. And I just finally realized, like, I don't want to live my life like this. I don't want to feel like this anymore. And I tried, you know, I had a conversation, had many conversations, you know, with her, and begged her to change a million times. And she never did. And the final straw, I ended up, you know, we were a few months out from getting married. And I said to Mitchell, I was like, I don't know if I can imagine a world where she's there and it doesn't ruin the day in some way.
Wow.
So I wrote her a letter and basically laid it all out on the table. Like, this is everything that you've done that's been really hurtful and like deeply damaging to me and our family. You've never taken accountability. You don't show any signs of wanting to change your behavior. And until you can do that, I can't have you in my life.
Ooh.
And
tough.
she never responded. And to this day has never acknowledged that letter, or, you know, and it's been 2 years. So, but it was at the same time. So the day that I wrote that song, it had been 3 days since I had sent the letter with no response. And I think it was like, I went into that room that day understanding that I was not going to get a response. And really, like, no answer was an answer.
Oof.
Loud and clear.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
And so, as much as a lot of people think that's really sad, it is. But for me, I remember that moment as being cathartic and freeing. It gave me permission to move on.
Wow.
It gave me permission to stop feeling like it was my responsibility to maintain that relationship.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
I mean,
Anymore.
you kind of have to lay it all out.
Yeah.
In order to get to a place to where you can say, all right, I was honest about how I feel. Yeah. Balls in your court kind of situation. Mm-hmm. And if they don't pick it up, like you said, that's your answer.
And you go one way or the other on that situation too, right? It's like in life, if you get to that point, that's a learning moment. You know, you throw it out there and you're like, all right, well, this is how I feel. I've got it all out. I'm not holding anything. I'm not harboring anything anymore. And then you move on from that moment to better parts of life, you know? Well,
and I think it's like the thing that people need to understand too is like, it seems like such a serious thing, such a taboo thing, because she's my mother.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, mothers, fathers, daughters, we're all just people.
For sure.
You know, and so that's just a person. I would never allow anyone else in my life to treat me that way.
Jeez.
I would never keep anyone else in my life that made me feel that way. So why would they get a free pass?
Right.
You know, happiness is a choice, and your happiness is your responsibility. And if somebody is keeping you from that and is affecting the way you view yourself in such a negative way, like, I just knew there was no way for me to heal the things inside of me that needed to be healed unless there was some separation there.
Sure.
And that's what Golden Child is. That's what the record is. It's the journey the journey of my healing and my lessons learned and learning the things, even that spread out into my relationships with men and like being in relationships and chasing toxic guys because I thought that's what I deserved because I thought that was normal. I thought that it was normal for someone who claims to love you to abuse you and that it was your responsibility to stay and fix them.
That had to bleed into Boy Who Cried Drunk. I mean, that
it's all over it.
Yeah.
It's all over it. And I learned how to leave that kind of relationship first.
Right.
Because it physically endangered me.
Yeah.
And then I started going to therapy and then I ended up in another one.
Yeah.
And then it was like I had to take the step back and get some self-awareness and be like, okay, not my fault that these men have, abused me or done these horrible things. Sure. But there's a pattern here of the type of guy that I keep thinking I need to be with. Why am I attracted to this? Why am I, trying to be with people, with men who treat me like this? And I had to dig deep into the whole psychology of that. And I know where it's all rooted.
Okay. So there's a chance that right now someone listening to this is in that kind of a spot. I mean, what advice would you give to somebody to get help and to get out of that? Because you've been there and you've been through the head space of it, and there's probably a lot that two dudes don't understand. I don't even understand. I think it's important.
Therapy, like literally go to therapy, and if that's something that you can't afford or is not available to you, like journal, write it down. But like you've got to dig into the dark. It will not go away. It just festers,
really?
And it you'll find that first it's learning your patterns and learning the behaviors that lead you to hurt you in the end.
Yeah.
And recognizing your part in it.
As a dude who has had no experience with that, I would go, well, just leave.
Right.
You know what I mean? Which is like,
well, it's hard to leave somebody that's mistreating you when you don't think you deserve better. That's the problem. It's your lack of self-worth.
Oof.
It's your understanding of what a normal relationship looks like. When your normal is toxic, then
that's what you expect.
You got nowhere else to go.
That's what you expect. You don't even know that better exists, or maybe you do, and you just don't think you deserve it.
Right.
And that was certainly my problem, and that's why I put it into these songs because, like you said, my hope is that somebody who's going through that hears these songs, sees a piece of themselves, and then sees the hope that comes, in later on in the record, where you get to the healing part and the leaving behind the part and the learning to understand that you deserve someone great and that you can find somebody great even when you think you're going to be dying alone,
Yeah.
And so, that's I just think that God gave me these gifts and gave me this platform to help other people.
Good for you.
So
I always love hearing about like an artist because it's different for songwriters, right? Like we don't create records, we write songs, and there are particular songs that we start and we write, and at the end of that song, it's changed us a little bit because we got a little bit of ourselves out of there and out of here and into a song. I love hearing artists talk about records like you're talking about it, that like at the start of it and at the end of it, you're a changed person.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And it was that record that took that, and it's not just a product of 14, 15, 12, however many songs are on there. It's just like, hey, here's some music. It is this is bigger than that. This is my life. This is a stepping stone for me to get where I am to where I want to go, and I need to get all of this out into a format.
Yeah.
And here it is. I feel like that's some of the best records out there.
Well, I feel like that's how records used to be made in a lot of ways. There was a theme, there was a story, there was a flow. Like there was a lot of intention and time and thought put into the order of the songs. The record is meant to be listened to top to bottom in order. It takes you on a whole journey. And I've been saying, like, if you really want to know me, just listen to this record.
Yeah.
Because it really is me just telling all, because I kind of hit my rock bottom, like with my career and just personally, like in the last few years. And I just kind of decided, like, okay, if I'm going to get back up and take another swing, I'm going to do it on my own terms. I'm going to be really honest this time about exactly who I am. because I've had people telling me my whole life how to
this is who you should be.
This is what's marketable about you. This is what isn't. Show this, don't show that.
Right.
I mean, even like I had people telling me to lie about my age, like there's something inherently wrong with me because of like how long I've existed on earth.
Because you have control over that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Even going back to the Canadian thing, like when I was trying to get a US record deal, don't tell them you're Canadian. I'm like, what? Like, again, that does a number on you when there's things about you that you literally can't change.
Yeah, you had to proud of.
They're telling you like that automatically makes you less than. And it, like I said, I got tired. I was like, this sucks. I don't want to live like this anymore. And then I realized I'm like, I don't have to. I can do whatever the hell I want.
Come on.
And you know what? I just had to, it was a leap of faith. It was a test of my relationship with God and my faith of just, it was a lot of praying and believing and trying to truly listen and pay attention to the things he was providing for me and the way that he was guiding me. And, that led me to make a truly honest record. There's not one song, not one sound on that whole record that I don't love that isn't exactly what I want it to be.
Well, you can tell. Yeah, you can tell. Just listen to it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We want to touch on your nonprofit for domestic abuse victims.
Mm-hmm.
How can people get involved with that? Kind of share your passion behind that thing.
Well, it started, I mean, I've been passionate about that for, since I got out of my own abusive relationship about 10 years ago. And the first time, I've done a few small like fundraisers and stuff since then, but last, I guess 2 years ago, I wrote The Boy Who Cried Drunk. And October, I think I wrote it was like late September or something. And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I posted it on, social media, TikTok, and it was kind of having a moment, and Randy was like, I think we should just release this for Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And so like we pulled it together in like a matter of weeks, and she was like, let's do a fundraiser around it. And so we pulled this together in weeks. We released the demo as is. Cool. And it got showcased, like iHeart played it across all of their stations and the women of iHeart Country. And we threw an event. I did like a writer's round at the Nashville Palace. We did it in the front room. We sold it out, which was amazing for having to put it together in like 2 weeks. Yeah. And it was one of the most special, fulfilling nights I've ever had. It just like really lit a fire in me. And I told Randy, I'm like, because I've always told her that I want to have my own charity, eventually my own foundation. I'd love to be able to even open up shelters or, wherever the need is. And so we decided to make it an annual event. This year, we had just released the album. So we decided, well, let's double it. Let's take all this great buzz we're getting from the album and channel that into a great cause. And we'll do the album release party as the fundraiser. Yeah. And so we decided we were going to do a couple rounds, and then I would play some songs off the record, full band. And they were like, well, we think we should do it in the back room. And I was freaking out because it's a significantly bigger room. Right. And I was super nervous, and I pulled in all my big calls to all my talented friends, and it started with the first few girls I asked just happened to be women, and then it turned into a whole female lineup, which was kind of unintentional in the beginning, but was really cool.
Yeah, it's great.
And it was just first of all for me, like selfishly, it was so like heartwarming and so feel good to just have so many people show up for me. Yeah. And I know these are women. I mean, Ella's been on the road constantly having a huge year, and she made time to come do it. All my girlfriends, it awesome. Was just really cool to have so many amazing people show up for the event. And we packed the room out. It was crazy. And we raised over $18,000. And
that's great. Good for you.
The YWCA has an amazing program for survivors of domestic violence. It's really comprehensive. One of the things that I always thought was really cool is they now also have like a state-of-the-art pet shelter on the grounds, because one of the biggest reasons why a lot of women won't leave their abusers because their dog they can't bring their dog with them. If they have to go to a shelter, shelters won't accept dogs.
Interesting.
And I mean, I wouldn't leave my dog either, you know? So the fact that they, you know, they've just really thought of everything. So, and we're going to keep growing it every year. And hopefully I can get it to a point where I've got my own charity.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's good. Good for you. We usually do it at the first part of the episode. What you mad at? Just tell us what it is, what you mad at. Is it your in-laws, kids? Might be your boss man or your neighbor's cat. Just tell us what you're mad at. A little different on you today, doing it at the end instead of the beginning. Everybody who's been waiting for what you're mad at, you're welcome.
Sorry, it was at the end of the show now. And we're going to do 3 things in a row.
Okay.
Are you mad at anything?
Yeah. I've been doing a lot of traveling, obviously, this year. A lot of flights.
Yeah.
Dude, if when that plane lands,
this is a good one.
If you get up and push your way past everybody
that's the worst.
to get to the front of the plane, unless you are telling me, hey, I'm so sorry.
I've got a flight to catch.
My flight is leaving in 10 minutes.
Telling everybody, I got to get to the front.
You better sit your ass down.
Sit down.
You better sit down.
Sit that ass down.
I can't explain the rage that fills me when I see that happen. It's just like, dude, do you think any of us want to be on this plane any longer than we have to?
Right.
This hot,
we all want to get off
plane.
this thing as fast as we possibly can.
None of us live here. This might come as a shock. None of us actually live here.
It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable.
Just old fart too.
Your time is not more valuable than mine.
No.
Agreed.
I can't stand. That's a really, man.
I'm mad just thinking about it.
Yeah, me too. I got fired up right then.
I can picture the faces of a few people.
Me too.
It happened on my last flight where a guy student got up and was like knocking people with his bags.
Just stopped right here. I mean, we still got 3/4 of.
Do you think I won't stick a foot out?
Bro, I'll just stand up. It's kind of like when you know you're supposed to get in the lane change and they just try to go by on the right. And then there's always that one truck that pulls over and just drives and just keeps everybody.
Yeah.
And they start honking and trying to go around them. That's kind of what I do. I'll be like, well, I'll just get my big ass in the middle of this little walking lane. Ain't nobody running me over, dog. Ain't happening. You have to climb over these seats, baby. I can't stand that, dude.
Hey, let's do this right quick. It's the holidays. Okay. Do you have any favorite traditions? Any like holiday traditions that you do besides going and hunting and killing big deer?
I just like getting to see my family. You know, they still live in Canada. They're all getting into town tomorrow. So I'm just excited to eat some good food. And
you cook anything?
Yeah, I do. So a couple years ago more than a couple now, when I started going over to Mitchell's mom's place for Thanksgiving.
She seems like a good cook. She a good cook?
Debbie, well, I would say his Aunt Vicky does a lot of the cooking. She's great. She can cook anything and everything. And I make this like cheesy Brussels sprout casserole thing, which like I know a lot of people are Brussels sprouts haters, but they say that this is, I mean, if you cover anything in enough like cheese and like good stuff, like it's pretty good.
No doubt.
And so I brought that one time and Mitchell's Uncle Kirk really just loved it. So now it's my thing that I bring.
Nice.
You could like sprinkle a little mushroom in there now and get the party
going.
little microdose casserole.
That would get me divorced.
All right, we do 2 things. We didn't talk about this before, but we do the one that got away. Which could be a fish, a deer, a song. We always say this one. Colby Calais had a $250,000 gift card getaway that somebody gave to her that she let expire. It's actually $25,000, but
we just keep growing it every time just to see.
250 was a stretch. 250
just to see the face.
I was like, how do you even spend that much money anywhere?
Yeah, 250 was a big number.
You jumped. I thought we were at 60.
We were
250.
I just wanted to go.
25,000?
We have just been upping it every 5,000 every time we tell somebody that story.
How much was it really?
25 grand,
which is still a lot.
That's a lot
like a
to spend at a spa.
It was a resort.
Yeah.
At a resort.
Yeah,
and it
like
expired.
Spend the week getting massaged.
Oh,
in the
that
snow.
would.
That was
How
her.
does that expire though?
I think she finagled it and got it back. But that was her one that got away. Oh yeah.
I'm sure that was important. That thing you had to say. But it's that time of the show for the one that got away.
We always sing that. You say part. You say time.
I couldn't.
You say time, I say
yours
part.
now, and we're swapping.
I know we're swapping.
Sorry.
It's probably a good bit for
I
the
like
show.
all these little intros.
Ditties. Yeah, they're supposed to be
nice
spaced out
ditties.
because they're actually the same progression.
I didn't notice.
Thanks.
Not like our songs. Our songs are all different.
Not true.
Not the same.
Not true. They're all the same.
The one that got away.
One that got away. It is a deer, and it's the first and only buck I've ever come within range bow hunting. But there was a couple things at play.
Where this take place at?
This is at my friend's property out in Goodlettsville.
Okay.
Actually, the same place where Mitchell and I got married.
Okay.
Sick.
Well, first of all, I was in like a ground blind, which is not really ideal with a bow. It's kind of a weird situation.
For sure.
The
You gotta
window,
have certain. Yeah, you gotta have. They make certain blinds for bow
It's
hunting.
tough.
It is
It's
not.
tough.
It is not for that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It is like a gun hut.
Yeah.
But that's just what was there
Sure.
in that area.
Yeah.
I had 2 other stands up in other places, had hunted them with no luck, so I was just going to try this spot.
Yeah.
And when I first saw him come in, I would say he was probably about maybe 60 yards.
Okay.
But he kind of cut out and he was walking head on to me this whole time, walking head on, walking head on, walking head on. I'm waiting for him to turn.
Are you drawn back?
I'm like,
Drawing.
D-loop.
I'm ready to go,
Gotcha.
kind of thing. And I'm just kind of watching him. And finally, he just stops for the longest time, just face on with me. But like, he's close. I would say he's probably 40.
Okay.
Me personally, I was wanting him to get into like 30.
Yeah.
I still am new with a bow. I'm not
Hey,
pulling
I'm
a
gonna tell you
ton of
something.
weight. I want to take a
tough.
shot I feel good about,
For
right?
sure. First
Bro,
one.
a shot over 30 yards, honestly, is tough for the most avid bow
Yeah.
hunter. It really is, man.
Yeah, you
Once
got
you get past 30, it gets a little. It starts getting
Right.
dicey.
And so he starts walking up. I'm like, okay, it's about to happen. And my butthole is in my throat.
Gross.
But that tasted awesome.
Yeah, disgusting.
Your breath smelled
It tasted
great.
like grizzly and black coffee.
If anybody was wondering. Okay.
I wonder if we'll turkey gobble over that. That'd be cool if we didn't.
Probably not.
Anyway.
I know that
He starts
feeling. I know that
walking up.
feeling.
Yes,
I do
he
know that
walks
feeling.
up and then he just turns into the woods. And he did stop broadside. I'd say he was probably up at about 30. There was branches.
Yeah.
It was
How big?
one
was
of
this-
those
How big
things.
was this deer?
He was a really nice 8. Like he was a shooter.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he was, especially with a bow.
Yeah.
No question. I wanted him.
Yeah, buck fever.
And he turned, and it was like I knew that shot wasn't going to get any better, and I stopped for a beat to think about it, and then he was gone.
Yeah, that's how that
And
works.
here's the thing: in hindsight, I mean, at the end of the day, I do feel I made the right choice with the circumstances given, but that did not stop my brain from looping that moment every single night I went to bed for like 6 months.
That's how it goes.
Like every time I had 2 seconds to just think about anything,
like,
that's what I was thinking about. And I would run it over in my head. Should I have taken the shot? Why didn't I take the shot? Like, did I really not take the shot because
Was
it
that
wasn't
my
a
one
good shot?
chance?
Or was I scared?
Yeah.
Was I just
Am I
scared
not
of
a good
failure?
hunter?
Am I a terrible hunter?
I
Am
know
I
what
just
I'm doing
like,
or don't. No,
am I a fraud?
Right.
Why did I practice all
Imposter
that time?
syndrome. Yeah.
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 So that one, that ate at me. And matter of fact, now that I'm talking about it again, I'm probably going to think about it when I go to sleep tonight. So thank you for that.
Awesome.
That's great.
Gravorite.
You're a good hunter. I'm sure you made the right decision.
Yeah, it was the right.
It's
decision.
not-
even hearing the story.
Yeah,
that's the right
it's
decision.
it's if you don't have
was
that
just-
ethical.
It's the only,
you know,
it's the closest I've ever come to actually being able to shoot a deer with my bow.
it irks me when I hear people just taking pot shots just because they don't want something to get away.
Well, that's my whole thing is like,
It really
yeah,
irks us on the show.
It
when
sucks to
people
think
say that.
about it. Yeah, it sucks to think about that situation and obsess over it, but it would have sucked even worse if I just like injured it or didn't make
Absolutely.
a great shot,
Yeah.
and then it probably gets ripped apart by coyotes or
I mean,
whatever.
honestly,
I'd say
you know?
that's more of being a like that's taking a bad shot is way more telling of you as a hunter than not taking a
Well,
shot.
I think in the end, I've always feel like if I have to second guess it, if my gut is making me second guess this shot, I shouldn't take it.
That's right.
Because I think you will regret the shots. It's like the opposite of what they say. Like where you will regret the shots you do take, the bad shots you take more than the shots you don't.
It's a great way to think about it.
Didn't Michael Scott say that?
Yeah.
I think so.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Michael Scott or Michael Jordan?
No, Michael Jordan said it, but Michael Scott said Michael Jordan.
Of Michael Jordan.
Michael Scott.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Assistant to the regional manager.
Let's do Gravorite. This is not the greatest or your favorite. This is a blend of the two. Song that comes to mind. Potentially that you could sing a verse and a chorus of. Yeah.
You know what? I've been thinking about it all morning. My brain has been going back and forth between two songs.
Say both of them because there's a chance maybe I can play one of them.
Okay. Well, one of them is Troubadour, George Strait. That has been one of my go-to
I think I can do that
favorite covers.
Yeah.
Let's see. How does that go?
I played a little higher, but
where do you want me to play? I can play it. I can move it.
I play it. Throw that capo on, like, what is that? Half step down or standard?
Half step.
Yeah, throw it on 4.
I knew you were gonna say
in
4.
G. Yeah, I think it's in B or something. Yeah. I still feel 25 most of the time.
Right?
E minor still raise a little cane. C with the boys back to G. Honky tonks are pretty women. Oh, I'm still right there with them, singing above the crowd in the noise. Sometimes I feel like Jesse James, still trying to make a name, knowing nothing's gonna change what I am. I was a young troubadour when I'm rolling on a song. I'll be an old troubadour when I'm gone.
Man, that's good, dude. It's a great song, man.
The older I get in this industry, the more I feel like I'm living the words.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but it's kind of, I just love that idea of like, no matter what I go through, no matter what I do, like I am who I am. I came in that way and I'm going to leave that way.
Come on. You're I already know you're a great singer, but you're a really great singer.
Thanks, brother.
What's your other one? What was your other one?
That tippy, raspy range is real. It's real nice.
Thank you.
Yep. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good.
What's
the other one is John Prine, Angel from Montgomery.
Oh.
You do it at G?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Same spot?
Yeah. I could probably sing it there. I am an old woman named after my mother. My old man is another child that's grown alone. It dreams of comfort, and it was desire. This old house wouldn't burn down a long time ago.
Come on.
Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old Romeo. Just give me one thing alone I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
Come on, man. That was
one of
great.
my favorite lines in that song is the last verse.
Let's do it.
There's flies in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Can you hear the buzzing?
I can hear all them buzzing. But I ain't done nothing since I woke up today. Right here. How the hell can a person go to work in the morning, come home in the evening, have nothing to say? Come on. Make me an angel that flies from Montgomery. Make me a poster of an old rodeo. Just give me one thing alone I can hold on to believe in this living is just a hard way to go.
Dude, jam. That's a jam, man.
Meghan Patrick.
Yes. That
was so much fun, man.
I love y'all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on.
Yeah.
Dude, anytime.
And you're rocking.
Yeah,
Thanks,
man.
brother.
I love hearing and I've heard your stories and know your journey, but I think it's great to let everybody else hear it and hear the spark and the inspiration and the grit and the grind that you still have and that you're putting into your music and these albums and your everyday life is it's inspirational.
And we love you, and
everybody
loves you. You know what I mean? There ain't nobody in this town that don't. So you just keep.
I'm sure there's somebody.
Well, I don't know them if there is.
They suck anyway.
Your old manager doesn't live anymore.
I mean, they might hate me, but they're wrong, and I hate them.
Well, we love you. Thanks for hanging out with us in God's country.
Of course.
Thanks for listening.
We'll check y'all out next time.
GC. Peace.